Hey everybody, it's Dr. G. Welcome to my first video cast. I'm so excited that you are here. We're actually together. It's like you're right here with me at Windmill. And what's so neat about this is we could be face to face and we could be discussing this topic. Today's topic is the 5 benefits of being grateful. I wanted to make that as my first video cast because living with gratitude is a huge part of my life. It's something that's very, very important to me. It's something that I've done for a very, very long time. So that's the first thing that I want to talk about is why I'm making not only this video cast, but why I've done the previous teleseminars, why I'll do future teleseminars as well as video casts as well. Now, here's my reason. And my reason why is really the reason why I do pretty much anything in my life. The reason why I'm doing these is to help to improve people's health and to help to improve people's quality of life. So what's really neat is by not only doing these now, but by having them videotaped like this or audio taped with the teleseminars, people can listen to them at any time in the future and they can listen to them or watch them anywhere in the world. Because as a chiropractor, I help people with their health and with their quality of life by removing subluxation, by correcting the nerve interference so that their body is able to heal itself, so the nervous system can run the healing program and we heal. And that's vitally important. It's something that is an absolute passion of mine. Been doing it for over 22 years now, and I absolutely love this. But the other part of what I do is coaching. It's coaching you when you're on the adjusting table, or somebody new when I first meet them, or someone when I see them out in the public, or wherever I might travel. And with coaching, I like to coach lifestyle coaching, health coaching, things like that, all related to inspiration, ideas, and information. So the more you learn, the better you understand, the more it makes sense, and then you implementing that into your life. So we're going to talk about gratitude, the 5 benefits. So what is beneficial to you about living a life full of gratitude? So I want to frame it first with just looking at gratitude as a perspective. It's a way that we look at things. And I think we all know people in our lives that can look at any situation and see the good, and other people can look at that same exact situation and see the not so good. So recognize that part of this is perspective, and that's hugely important, and we're going to get to that a little bit. But the first benefit of living a life of gratitude is humility. Because think about it. If I am saying, thank you, God, for this gift in my life. Thank you, God, for this situation that is in my life. My family, my wife, my career, my patients and practice members. Whatever it might be. It's doing 2 things. Number 1, I recognize, as I know you do as well, we live a life of free will. However, thankfully, God runs the show. So by saying thank you about a particular thing in your life, you're acknowledging that God is in charge. And that's absolutely wonderful. So God certainly has created all of the great things in my life. Now what I have done as an instrument is I have used the gifts that I have been given, just like the incredible gifts that you've been given. We've all been given great gifts. I've used those gifts to create the life that I have. But it's just like the body. If God didn't make your body to heal itself, the adjustment wouldn't matter. But because God made your body to heal yourself through your nervous system, the adjustment matters a lot because it allows your nervous system to work the way it was supposed to. So being grateful allows us to be humble, which is very, very important. Second benefit of being grateful is appreciation. So we're being grateful to a particular person. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for coming today. Thank you for that gift. Thank you for the lovely dinner. Thank you for your service. Whatever the thank you is all about, we are appreciating them. Now let's remember what that really means. If we buy a house, we want it to appreciate, don't we? Because if the house appreciates, what happens? It goes up in value. So by appreciating other people through gratitude, their value, their self-value goes up. And that is absolutely huge. They feel better about themselves because you are appreciating them. That is very, very interesting with the impact that now has on their life. Because think about it, they're going to feel better about themselves because you just thank them seriously and truthfully for whatever it is that they particularly did. Now, a lot of people, when they do something, and it's something that they do so well, almost naturally, so a mom who's a great cook cooks a great meal, and we're grateful for that. The typical response is, oh, that's no big deal. It wasn't a big deal. Don't worry about it. All of that. This is what's important. When we're truly using our gifts, it's easy for us because we've been blessed with that gift. Let's look at the musician, plays a beautiful song on the piano. To them, it's easy because they have the gift to be able to play the music. And that's absolutely wonderful. But remember, a big part of someone appreciating someone else is the thank you at the other end. It's very disconcerting when we go to thank someone. It's like we're giving them a gift. Thank you so much for this that you did for me. And if they're like, oh, it was no big deal. It wasn't a big deal. It wasn't anything. Well, they're not accepting our gift. It's kind of like they're just pushing it aside. So in the same way, when you are thanked for things, when you are shown gratitude and appreciation by your parents, by your kids, by your spouse, by employees, by your employer, by your friends, remember, it's very, very important for you to say, you're welcome. Thank you for noticing. I'm happy to do it. It makes me happy to do this for you. Whatever it might be, but make sure it's a positive thing. Because it's very upsetting, and if it's our children, we're training them to not be grateful. Most people don't think of it this way, because you're not letting the gift fully get completed. It would be like if every year on your birthday they went to give you a gift and you pushed it aside. You're training them to go, well, I guess you don't give gifts, or gifts are not appreciated. So why would I do more of that? I don't want to be not appreciated. That's an innate thing that everybody knows. So show appreciation from both sides. If someone's life then appreciates or goes up in value, guess what they're going to want to do? They're going to want to do that same exact thing to somebody else in their life. So you've shown great appreciation to someone, guess what? They're going to then go on in their day and show great appreciation to someone else, and then so on, and then so on, and it's an absolutely wonderful, positive ripple effect, which is awesome, and it's fun. Third benefit is peace. By you recognizing the blessings in your life, the things that you're grateful for, you realize that you have a contented feeling and you have peace in your life. One exercise that I suggest you do that helps with this a lot is keeping a gratitude journal. Now, it can literally be a journal, a notebook with a pen or pencil, or a lot of people now with technology, they do this on their computers, laptops, iPads, phones. It doesn't matter. But this is a very, very good tool, and it's called a gratitude journal. Some people even go out and get a really nice leather-bound one. They only use a nice pen when they write in it because this is supposed to be important. Some people do this daily, but minimum weekly, and that is sit down with that journal and write at least one thing that you're grateful for. At least one thing. So what am I grateful for today? Or what have I been grateful for this week? And you may find you start writing one sentence, and before you know it, you've written a paragraph. Just looking at that brings peace into your life. Now, the fourth benefit I love, because this is something that I've done pretty much most of my life, definitely all of my adult life, and most definitely ever since I've had children. And that is the fourth benefit of having gratitude in your life is it allows you to get into the habit of focusing on the positive. I mentioned in the beginning of this that some people that will look at a situation and they will only see the negative or clearly see the negative, and other people will look at the exact same situation and clearly see the positive. Not necessarily ignoring the negative, but it's focusing on the positive. That is an actual gift and a benefit of being grateful, because it allows you to look at any situation, whatever it might be, and focus on the good in that situation. So previously, you may have gotten frustrated because traffic is slow. But if you look at it from a positive perspective, meaning how can I turn this into a positive? We're not getting where I want to go when I want to get there. But you know what? Because traffic was slow, guess what? Maybe you got to spend more time with the other people in your car, your spouse, a friend, a child. And because of that extra time, you were able to communicate to a deeper level. Maybe because you were in the car for that extra length of time, you were able to listen to something on the radio, song-wise, news-wise, that ended up being important to you. Or how about this one? And this one is something I focus on a lot whenever I get the initial knee-jerk reaction of frustration when it comes to traffic. Maybe because I'm not getting where I want to get exactly when I think I should get there, I'm actually avoiding a car accident or another like situation. Because we've all done that before. We've been in traffic, we've been frustrated, and then when we get to where we should have been, we see a car accident and we go, wow, you know what? If I didn't get delayed at home, that extra 10 minutes that I was so upset about because Johnny couldn't find his shoes or Mary couldn't, didn't have her stuff together, I would have been right at that point when that accident happened. That might have been me, or that might have been us. So an initial thing that's frustrated turns out being what? A blessing. We talk about those. A blessing in disguise. So it's a huge benefit to focus on the positive. The fifth benefit of living a life of gratitude is it helps your self-esteem. Because think about it. If you live a humble life, and what I mean by humble, I don't mean like, oh, I'm not worthy. That's not humble. Humble is just recognize that there's a power greater than ourselves, that there's God in our lives, controlling and orchestrating. And again, like I said, we have free will, but He has an amazing ability to take our free will and convert it into what is still best for us and what allows us to serve Him and His people in the right way. So we live a life of humility versus a life of pride, pridefulness. And I don't mean, oh, I'm proud of my kids. I mean the pridefulness that you know exactly what I'm talking about, that we see in the world, that is a big part of a lot of the problems that are out there. So we live a humble life. We live appreciating others, which ultimately turns around to appreciating ourselves, because I don't know of anybody who can do something for somebody else or give something to somebody else or do a service project where they're going in their neighborhood or in another neighborhood and taking, as an elderly couple who can't do the things around their house like they used to, and you rake their leaves or you clean up their yard or you do different things for them. I don't know of anybody, I don't care what age we are, I don't know of anyone that can do that kind of a thing and not feel really good about themselves because they did something to help another person without asking for anything or wanting anything or expecting anything in return. So that's the beauty of the gift of giving and the gift of appreciation, and that's what gratitude is all about. So we live a life of humility, we appreciate others, we appreciate the situations, we live a life of peace, we document that in our gratitude journals, we look at the positive, we're looking more at what's good in this world, or more of what's good in my day or in my life or in a situation, then we are focusing on the negative. Because there's another part of that, and it's a principle of life, and it is whatever you focus on, you get more of. And whether we have ever heard that quote before, we can probably look at our lives and recognize that. Okay? Because that same person that focuses on the negative, what tends to happen in their life? They seem to be a magnet for things that go wrong. And the people that tend to focus more on the positive, in a very positive light, and they help others and are doing all this other stuff, tend to not have obstacles in their life. Of course, they have obstacles, but they tend to attract more situations that are positive. And what tends to happen, and it's interesting, but the people that look more at the negative will look at the people who are looking at the positive and say, oh, they're so lucky. Things always come up roses for them. When really nothing could be further from the truth. It's just our choice where we choose to put our attention. Because what you focus on, you will tend to get more of. And that could be a good thing, and that could be a bad thing. It's a principle that always works, so it's something we need to look at as far as what do we need to focus on, and how do we want to address that focus from the perspective of our choice. In this situation, am I going to choose the good, or am I going to choose the bad? Am I going to choose the positive, or am I going to choose the frustrating? Or am I going to choose the negative? What am I going to do with that? And a lesson for me that I see all the time is when something comes up that's unexpected. What is my response to that? That's what always tells me how good I am at doing this. Because thinking positively is kind of like this. When you squeeze an orange, what comes out? Orange juice. You never squeeze an orange and have grape juice come out. So the only thing that can come out of the orange is what's already inside. The orange juice. So think about it. What comes out when you get squeezed? What comes out when I get squeezed? If it's positive, if it's looking on the bright side, if it's a calm response, that's because I was already putting positive and calmness and just level-headed, balanced life into myself, and that's what came out. Now, unfortunately, that's not always the case. And it's interesting, but you look at it with situations, again, like I said, that are unexpected. I heard someone say it once, and it's true. Two situations to see what a man is really made of. This seems to be these topics more for men than women, but you can substitute your own topic, is when the Christmas lights get tangled, and if and when you lose luggage. How do you respond to that situation? So think about that. How do we respond to our kids? How do we respond to work? How do we respond to our family members? Extended family, that is. I know they can sometimes push our buttons, but what is our response? Our response always is what's inside. If we're happy with our response, then we're putting the right stuff inside. If we're not happy with our response, then there's anger inside, or there's sadness, or there's frustration inside. And how do we put things inside? Well, it's the people we hang out with. It's the conversations we have. It's the books we read. It's the TV, movies, television shows, whatever you call it, that we watch. Those are the things that we put inside ourselves. And that's how those things get inside. So whatever's coming out, we put it inside first. So if you want to change what's coming out, we need to change what we're putting inside, how often we're doing that, so we can get a better response. One last tip is, if we are in a funk, we all have days where we're just not waking up as bright-eyed as we want to, that things aren't quite going the way we want them to, and to break that cycle, this is what I recommend. Grab your gratitude journal. This is why it's so valuable to do, and read it. It won't take many sentences, it won't take many pages of reading it before everything changes around, because what's going to happen? You're appreciating your life again because you're reading about all the good things, and you're reminded of the great family, the great wife, the great husband, the great parents, the great kids, the great job. The fact that I have a house, I have a car, whatever it might be. We have to reread that sometimes to remind ourselves of the blessings that we have. So I hope this was very beneficial to you. I know these are some things that have helped me tremendously with my outlook on life, with gratitude, with why most of the time, if not all the time, when you come in and you ask me how I'm doing, the answer is usually great. And it's not, I don't just say that to say it. I say it because I do what I love as a chiropractor. I'm blessed to have an absolutely amazing family. I've got an amazing team here at Windmill. You guys are absolutely wonderful patients and practice members. So I do have a great life from that perspective. And that's the perspective I choose to look at. Instead of all the little stuff that is happening in everyone's life, I don't choose to focus on that. I may acknowledge it, I may pray about it, I may take action to see that change and turn around. But I'm going to focus on the fact that I am having a great day because it's a blessing that I'm here, it's a blessing that I'm alive, and that I'm doing what I absolutely love to do. So a quick recap of the 5 benefits of living a life of gratitude. Number 1, humility. Number 2, showing appreciation to others. Number 3, living a life of peace, and ideally documenting that in a gratitude journal. Training yourself in the habit of looking at and focusing on the positive. And the 5th is it raises your self-esteem. And I'll tell you what, that's a gift to give to your children. Because children that have low self-esteem then have other issues that go on in their life, from a bullying perspective, a relying on other people perspective just to make themselves feel good. I hang out with these people because, well, the more friends I have, the better I feel about myself. No, no, no. We have to love ourselves right here, all by ourselves if we're in a room by ourselves. We have to love ourselves for who we are, and then love ourselves, in our relationships, in our spousal relationship, our parent relationship, our child relationship with our parent or our siblings and our friends and our coworkers. But we have to love ourselves first. That's where the self-esteem comes from. So thank you all for coming into this very, very first video cast. Hope you enjoyed it. I absolutely love doing it. Have an absolutely blessed day, and we will talk to you soon. Take care now.